Atma Sadananda. Sadananda is an interesting word. Sada Ananda. Always Ananda. Always Ananda means yesterday Ananda, today Ananda, tomorrow Ananda. Not like that. Timelessly Ananda. Okay? So, the element of time doesn't belong to Atma. You see, there are certain basic things which you should hold on to. So, this is my habit to say like that, okay? Don't mind. I behave like a headmaster occasionally. So, be prepared for that. So, you say you are a student of Vedanta for years now. Some basic things you don't get. Talk of big things. First things first, Appa. First things first. So, you look at the body, look at the mind, and yourself. You should be able to make that distinction. Without that Viveka, where is Vedanta? Vedanta is not books and scriptures and gurus and paramparas. That is not Vedanta. That is all the outer alankara, outer decoration that you do because you have nothing better to do. I say like that. So, that is not Vedanta. Vedanta is Viveka, idam shariram. That is first things first. Here is the body. If you are the body, I tell you, if you are the body, the whole world is like that. The whole world takes itself to be the body. People take themselves to be the body. Go to a mall. Everybody takes himself, herself to be the body. Go to a temple. Everyone takes himself, herself to the body. Come to the Vedanta class and with the same attitude you come here. Arey, kya baat hai? So, if you are the body, suppose if you were the body, then you don't need Vedanta. Go and enjoy life. Why you are wasting your time here? You are not the body. There is the body. Idam sharira. Don't identify with the body. Stop identifying with the body and see what happens. Immediately you are free from birth and death. One job is over. You are free from birth and death. Then, body needs three things. I am repeating. Please don't mind. Body needs three things. Hygiene. Keep it hygienical. You don't keep it hygiene. It keeps itself hygiene. You allow it to be hygiene. You just allow. Okay? Take a shower and all that. Then, it is hungry on and off. So, feed it. But cautiously. Don't pamper it. If you pamper, you will pay a bitter price. It becomes a noose to the neck. Kind of it becomes an obstacle. So don't pamper the so that it remains healthy. Second. Third, it is bound to become sick one day or the other. Because that is the law of nature. Body functions by the laws of nature. It doesn't function by your wish. So, the laws of nature, they demand, they control the body. Therefore, it is bound to become sick one day or the other. You externalize the sickness as much as you externalize the body. Idam shariram, this body, this sickness. So, you externalize it and do the right thing. Take some medicine or whatever. And allow the natural thing to happen naturally. That is body. You are not the body. Now mind. This is more difficult. Mind is sukha dukkha. Mind is past and future. That is what mind is. Mind doesn't know what is present. The psychological present is not the real present. The psychological present is a rehash of the past. And so the past flows into the present and covers the future also. That is what mind is. And then you understand, mind is time. Mind is time. Body is space, mind is time. And try perseveringly not to identify with the mind. Mind is sukha dukkha. Now you are free. What is left is yourself. What is left? All the process of becoming is over. Body is the becoming. The world is the becoming. Body is the becoming. Mind is the becoming. allow the becoming to remain in its place. You need not do anything about it. Find out what you are. You are not the becoming. You are the being. Just abide in your Swarupa. You may have to function in the world. You do that through the body-mind. But as often as you can, revert back to your being. Fall back. That is the base, You fall back. And fall back upon your being. Fall back upon your Swarupa. And operate from your Swarupa. Do not operate from the body. Don't make body as the base. Don't operate from the body base. Don't operate from the mind base. Operate from the being. Make that as your base. And see what happens. You discover freedom. You are free now. Mind is, you are free from the psychological time. Chronological time goes on. That doesn't bind anybody. The chronogram, it doesn't bind. It helps you to conduct things in a meaningful way. The psychological time is the bondage, and you are free from that. Freedom. And freedom, being is freedom, because being is timeless. Being is Ananda, meaning it is the peace and it is the love. That is what Ananda is. So, Sada Ananda, timelessly Ananda. Sad Ananda. It is the being which is Ananda. Nasya Dukkham Kadachana. You see, you suffer only when you leave your base and go into the mind. Identify with the mind. In the being, in yourself, there is no suffering at any time. In the being, there is no other. There is no time. There is a question of suffering. Suffering is only in the mind. It is in the mind only. You understand that and you come to terms with it. Suffering is in the mind. Whenever there is suffering, become alert. Oh, here is the suffering. This is the mind. Step back and watch the suffering. Don't ever try to escape from suffering. The world offers avenues of escape. The world tells, make more money, you can avoid suffering. It's a trap. The world tells, enjoy pleasures, you can avoid suffering. It's a trap. People take alcohol to overcome suffering. It's a trap. The world is a trap. Don't try worldly methods to avoid suffering. Then the religion appeases people. Religion and politics. Religion and politics. They divide people. They appease people. That is how they are. Therefore, the religion that takes you beyond religion, that you must follow. The religion that helps you go beyond religion, that is the religion you have to follow. Not the religion which binds you, which divides, which creates fragmentary thinking. You know what I mean? I am Brahmana, he is Vaishya or Shudra. That kind of fragmentary thinking. And we are Indians, we are spiritual and religious people, these are all mlechas. Another kind of fragmentary thinking. Or we are Hindus, they are Christians, these are Muslims, this kind of fragmentary thinking. This is how religion it conditions us into fragmentary thinking. Now, can't you see the dichotomy there? As long as you engage in fragmentary thinking, what Brahmajnanam are you talking about? You see, I came across an old man, an elderly person, and his grandson. They were with me. The grandson, he fell in love with a Swedish girl. He is from India. They're from an Orthodox family, But these orthodox people, they should remain in their village. They don't do that. They go to California. Why should you go to California? You remain in your village. Give birth to children in the village. Let them live in the village. They will give birth to their children in the village. And then they will marry a girl in the village. You are safe. He goes to California. And then Swedish girls also come to California, not only Indians. People from all over the world come to California. And so he fell in love with a Swedish girl. The grandfather is objecting to that. Dear son, not son, grandson. Dear, some name is there. You have to follow our tradition, our dharma, this and that. You cannot love a Swedish girl. Then that young man told, you say Brahma is one? Brahma mokkate in Telugu. Brahma mokkate. You say all the time. Ekam Brahma, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Advaitam Brahma. You say that all the time. This old man says it all the time. And now, is a Swedish girl not Brahma? How come you oppose a Swedish girl just because she is Swedish? What kind of thinking it is? That is what he asked. I was stunned. This young man, he got the truth. The old man is studying parampara for all these years. Nothing happened to him. The young guy got it. They both looked at me. I looked at both of them and blessed. Therefore, the point is, you come to terms with the reality. Unless you identify with the mind, there is no suffering. You don't escape from suffering. And religion offers avenues of escape. Suppose you are suffering. Religion tells you can escape from it. And what does it offer? It offers a ritual. That is all the religion can offer to you. And it tells you perform this ritual, all your suffering will be gone. It tells. Religion, it feeds upon your fear. That is how the religion operates, the binding religion. There is a different kind of religion, what we call true religion. That is the name given by Swami Ramatirtha. A religion which uplifts the people. He called it true religion, not the religion of the masses. True religion. Swami Vivekananda called it Vedantic religion. Therefore, I am not against the religion. I am against the binding aspects of the religion. You being students of Vedanta cannot be following the same religion as it is followed by the ignorant masses. You should have been better than that. Anyway, therefore, don't escape from suffering. You try this method. You have tried all your life to escape from suffering. Did you succeed? Then try this new one method. Don't escape from suffering. You embrace suffering. Investigate it. Explore it. Inquire into it. Examine it. Watch it. Never escape from it. Religion offers avenues of escape. Don't take those avenues. I will keep my suffering with me. This is Shiva. You see, Shiva took poison means don't assume that some poison was offered to him. He is a gentleman sitting somewhere. And then these people take this poison and don't take it like that. Don't take literally. I hope you understand what I mean. You can't take it literally, you know. Shiva, he consumes poison and holds it here. Means he is okay with dukkham. Dukkham is the poison. And I am okay with the suffering. I am okay with suffering. I can hold on to my suffering. I will keep with me. I am not averse to it. I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to push it away. I don't want to escape from it. I just stay with it. You try that. And therefore, now the world is out. Because you do not follow the worldly method of escape. The religion is out. Because you don't want to use religion to escape from suffering. Now you are left with your suffering. You and your suffering. You are the pure being, the witnessing awareness, and the suffering is the mind. It is there. I am not denying it. I am not suggesting denial. I am not saying there is no suffering. There is suffering. And of course, due to ignorance, that we will come to it, but presently there is suffering. And you stay with your suffering. You watch it. Then there is a mutation in that suffering. The poison becomes nectar. This is what is called the mutation. The poison, the suffering, it undergoes a metamorphosis. It undergoes a mutation. That means you have now digested the poison. That is the power of Atma. Therefore, abide in your being. Revert back to your being. In your base, when the base is the being, there is no suffering at all. Nasya dukkham kadachana. Then, sushupti. I am concluding the verse. Sushupti is the deep sleep. In deep sleep, nirvishayaha. There is no vishaya. Vishaya is, in deep sleep, there is no shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha. The five objects of pleasure. They are absent, totally absent. Then Vishaya is the things of the world. They are absent. That is Shabdadi. Then Vishaya is the relations, wife, husband, etc. They are all absent. Then all the self-identifications, like I am father, I am brother, I am sister, this kind of self-identifications, they are all absent. All self-definitions, I am happy, I am unhappy, I am a lucky person, I am unlucky. I am a professor, I am intellectual, I am ignorant, I am an ignoramus. So all self-definitions are absent. The ego is absent. All of that is Vishaya. The kshetra, the field. All of that is absent. If they contribute to happiness, then there should be no happiness in the sleep. But there is happiness in sleep. There is bliss in sleep. In fact, the joy of sleep, you cannot describe it. But you experience it all the time. It is there in your anubhava, experience. Who is that doesn't have the experience of deep sleep? Who is that? There is none. Everybody has known the joy of deep sleep. The joy of deep sleep, in which there is no body. Therefore, that joy could not have originated from the body. There is no world. It could not have come from the world. There is no mind. It could not have come from the mind. Then what is in the sleep? You are. Not you, a particular person. That is also absent in the deep sleep. You, free from all particularities, free from all definitions, free from all identifications. That you, that is the you. Tvam. What kind of tvam? Free from shodhita tvam. Free from every single particularity, definition. Free from every identification. So that you are there. Free from nama rupa, names and forms. Free from the body-mind identification. So that you are there, tvam. That you, free from all these, is God. That means in sleep, you are merging in God. That is what is happening. Sati sampadyante. In sleep, everybody merges in God. A criminal merges in God in sleep. A pious person also merges in the same God in sleep. And that God is your essential truth, your essential reality. That is what it is. God doesn't mean a gentleman, rather godliness. What you call God is indeed godliness. You see, we have converted God into a material thing. That is our problem. A material object. Upanishads, they exhort you again and again not to put materiality and objectivity into God. Bach ke raho. You save God from materiality and objectivity. Don't make God an object of your thinking or your thought or your senses. Don't make God into a material thing. God is not a material thing. So you may want to see God in a piece of stone, that is all right. But you should be cautious that the God that you are worshipping doesn't become material God and a God which is an object of your thought. That God has no value. Anyway, that is a different topic. So that real you, that is Atma. Real you, Atma. Real you, not the imagined you, the real you, Atma. Atmanandaha anubhuyate. In sleep, you experience, anubhava is experience. If you have a better word, please share with me. So, anubhuyate. You experience the joy. You do experience the joy. That is obvious. Only thing is, the origin of that joy is not the world, not the body, not the mind. Then what is the origin? The origin of that joy is yourself, your true self. Atmanandaha anubhuyate. And this point, this truth, that sleep gives you an opportunity to experience the joy of oneself, true self, is pointed out by a few things. One is Shrutihi. The Veda, the Upanishad says the same thing. Vijnanam Anandam Brahma, like that. The Atmananda, Vijnanam is the Atma, which is Ananda, which is Brahma. So like that Shruti is saying. Pratyaksham, it is in the direct, Pratyaksha means direct perception. That is Pratyaksha. Not what you see, Ghata Pratyaksha, not like that. The joy of sleep, is it Pratyaksha to you or is it Paroksha? Meaning, is it a thing of direct perception or is it a thing of hearsay? Not hearsay, hearsay. So, the joy of sleep, is there a joy of sleep? Yes. How can you say, yeah, I heard about it? Is it so? No, it is not hearsay. It is a matter of direct perception. That is called pratyaksha. Direct perception. Don't confuse, when I say direct perception, don't confuse it with the pramana called perception. Ayam ghataha ityadi. That is perception. You perceive the pot. Yeah, okay. You want to make it a bit more technical. Therefore, you can say Sakshi Pratyaksham, but I am trying to make it practical. Direct perception. It is used like that. It is known to you. It is known directly to you. There is no gap between that and you. That is the direct perception. And therefore, the joy of sleep is a matter of direct perception. Pratyaksham. Aitihyam. Aitihyam means elders, the wise say the same thing. The wise, they always say, dear son, in sleep you find out what you are. There is a Mahatma. He tells his students to meditate. Okay, meditate. What? Sit upright? Okay. That you can do easily, I hope. And then close your eyes. Okay, that also You should be able to close the eyes and keep the eyes closed for a length of time. Can you do that? Because some people, there is so much pressure, like pressure cooker pressure, by the time eyes closed, they have to open and see what is going around. For a minute, at the best, they can keep eyes closed for a minute. And then the pressure builds up. What is going on? What is happening? How can I remain like this without knowing what is happening? So you have to know information. What is happening? Suppose you are 5 minutes away from internet. Oh, what is happening in the world? Internet is like oxygen. They say we can survive without oxygen, but how can we survive without internet? Because we have to know what is happening. What is happening? No, La Liga, what is happening there? Who has scored the goal? I have to know. Or the young people. The elders say, what happened to that stock, whether it has come down or gone up. Because the stocks come up and come down and go up by the minute. Therefore, every minute you have to check. So, 1 minute earlier your stock was safe, but now you don't know whether it is safe. So, you have to check again. You check again. Yeah, it is safe. Therefore, how can you sit eyes closed? It is not easy. Anyway, coming back to the point, that is all digression. So, I keep the eyes closed. Okay. Now what? Do you remember your sleep, yesterday night sleep? Yeah, I seem to remember. You emulate that. You rehearse that sleep state. How? You remember. Remember the sleep state and reproduce the sleep state. Reenact the sleep state. Do that. How? There is no how. Just do it. Whenever you get doubt, remember yesterday night's sleep state and reenact it. That is the most beautiful meditation. A wonderful, wonderful meditation. You should try. Very easy. That means this is called Jagrat Sushupti. The Sushupti, deep sleep, reenacted in the waking state. You partake of Atmananda in doing so. So Atmanandaha anubhuyate. Shrutihi prachaksham aitihiyam. Mahatmas say like this. Wise people advise like this. Aitihiyam. That is called aitihiyam. Anumanancha. Anumana is inference, Anumanancha jagrati. What is the inference? So I have a tika here. Anumanam atma sadananda swarupaha sada niratishaya pramaspadatvad yannaivam tannaivam. Okay. So, you see, Atma is the repository of infinite happiness. And you can infer that easily, because there is sorrow only when you shift your base from your inner being to the mind. There is birth and death only when you shift the base to the body. When you don't shift the base wrongly, you stay in your base, you never experience any sorrow. From this experience, from this observation, we can conclude, we can infer that Atma is the source of all joy. That is the Anumana, inference, So, Atma Ananda Swarupaha, Anubhava Rupatvat. You can only give Vyatireka Drishtanta. You cannot give a positive illustration, because Atma is the only source of joy. There is no other source of joy. If there is another source of joy, that you can give it as an illustration, but there is no other source of joy. Therefore, you cannot give any positive example. You can only give negative example. Like Akashaha, space is unbounded. How? Like what? Like what you cannot give example. Unlike what you can give example. Unlike earth. Earth is bounded, Akasha is not bounded, unlike earth. This is called Vyatireka Drishtanta. And therefore, Vyatireka Anumana, the inference, the opposite inference only you can draw. Because Atma is one of its kind. You cannot give a second example. So that is how it goes. So with that, the science of Ananda, happiness, we have concluded. Now we enter into another topic. It is the science of Ajnana. The most important topic it is, in my opinion, because Ananda is with you. You need not acquire it, you need not accomplish it. It is always with you. Nobody will take it away. Nobody can rob it. The problem is not about bringing in Ananda. That is not the problem. The problem is, how come this Ananda is denied to me? What is it that denies the Ananda to me? So, avidya. That is what denies Ananda to me. This idea of avidya is in all cultures. Like in Christian mysticism, not in Christian mythology. Mythology is different from mysticism. In Christian mysticism, this avidya, they look at avidya as something called original sin. This is our original sin. Namely, we are ignorant of our own swarupa. That is the avidya. That is the original sin. Then in Buddhist literature, they talk of sarvam dukkham. They use the word dukkha. The dukkha, the gross dukkha, and then the subtle dukkha, even more subtle dukkha. Like that they talk of dukkha. The dukkha, the affliction, that is the avidya of the Vedantins. Ajnanam is dukkham, you know. You don't know, therefore you suffer. So, that avidya, so what is this avidya? Here, this is a very interesting thing and could be very confusing also. Avidya, you see, avidya is the source of confusion. That is what avidya is. People are confused. Why are they confused? Because they are ignorant. So ignorance is the cause, confusion is the effect. They put it like that. Some people say, no, you need not make any cause-effect there. Cause is the effect, effect is the cause. They argue like that. These arguments will be there. The disputations will be there forever. So the point is, there is ignorance. The primordial ignorance, not some topical ignorance. Topical ignorance is not a problem. Like, I know Sanskrit, but not Hindi that much. So do I suffer from that? No. I know English, but don't know Spanish. So do I miss something? Not necessarily. Suppose I land in Spain, then I have to fund, I have to manage one way or the other. It is not a major issue. So this kind of a topical, suppose I know chemistry, I don't know physiology, or some other subject I don't know. It's all right. I can consult that person and manage. That is the topical ignorance. We are not talking of that. We are talking of fundamental ignorance. What could be the fundamental ignorance? You are ignorant of yourself. That is a big thing it is. If I am ignorant of myself, then life becomes a mess, you know. I should know what I am. Then only life can be meaningful. So that is the avidya. This avidya, on this side it is avidya, on that side it is the power of maya. It is like that. You say, I will give you an example. You go to a movie and watch the movie with total absorption. And then you are a fan of that hero or director, whatever. You are a fan. That is this end of the whole movement, this end. On that end of that movement, you have the director, the movie maker, the director, not producer. Producer is just finance only, not that. The director is the soul of a movie. He does everything. Once a director was asked, Satyajit Ray, he was asked, when you make a movie, what things you do and what things you leave to others to do? That is the question put to him. You know what he replied? He thought about it and said, it looks as if I do everything. That is what. So camera, yeah, I look at the camera and sanction this shot. The makeup, yeah, I examine the makeup and I guide the makeup. Editing, I guide it. Sound editing, I guide it. Anyway, everything. So it seems I do everything. That is what he replied. That is the truth. That is the director. He is the creator, Srishtikarta. He is the creator. That is not easy. That is a great power. That end of the movie you look at it as a tube. On that end you have a director. On this end you have a fan. This fan is the most useless guy. What he gets. And the director, so movie itself is a myth. There is no reality. Is it satyam or asatyam? It is asatyam. But this tube called asatyam, on that end you have the director, and on this end you have the fan. This fan carries flowers to the theatre. Really, he takes the flowers to the theatre. And then the hero comes onto the screen. Then he throws flowers. Did you ever see that? This is the Indian cinema, not Hollywood. You have to come to South India. You know who is a fan? You know who is a fan? The fan is one. He sees the movie, and in the movie the hero performs all kinds of heroic acts. And the next day the hero contests an election, and the fan chooses him as the candidate. And therefore, you release a picture in which the hero performs all actions, very heroic actions. Just release the picture 1 month before the date of election. Just 1 month before the date of election. And win the election. They do that. The opposition parties are dumbfounded. They don't know what to do now. Therefore, they went to the election commission and wrote a big complaint. These people are releasing the movie just to win the election. Please stop the release of the movie. The election commission examined and said it is not in our power to stop the release of the movie. Therefore, that party is in glee. They released the movie. The name of the movie is Magadu, Telugu movie. A macho. Macho. That is the name of the movie. Who is the macho? The hero. And he gets elected. He or she. Sometimes it could be she also. These are the fans. Fans means a bunch of ignoramuses. They are the fans. On the other end of this movement, called a movie, is the director. You got the illustration well? Get the illustration into your heart well. Vedanta is all about illustrations. Vedanta is a Drishtanta Shastra. Only illustrations are our bread and butter. Once you have the illustration in place, now the Jagat is the movie. The world is the movie. The jivas are at the other end of the movie, the fans. They are the fans of the world. Look at the jivas. They are fans of everything. Whatever comes their way, they become fan. You become the fan of gold. What is gold? What is gold? If God put gold on the surface and stones underneath, then people would have become fans of stones. God put stones on the surface and gold underneath, therefore they have become fans of gold. If God made iron as scarce as gold, then people would have become fans of iron, not of gold. So, people are outright ignorant. They don't know what they are doing. They are fans of gold. And then people are fans of money. One scandal is going on in the newspapers. One person, he has hidden 1,000 crores worth of diamonds. What is that? You give me 1,000 crores worth of diamonds, you know what I will do? I will throw them on the side of the walk. What will you do with a diamond? A pair of a sandwich is more valuable than a bunch of diamonds. A sandwich is more valuable. A sandwich you can manage the breakfast with a sandwich. What will you do with this many diamonds? Samaloshtashma kanchanaha. Waste. But he hides 1,000 crores worth of diamonds and therefore runs away from the country. People are crazy. They are fans of this world, useless world, unreal world. That is the avidya. But then who is at the other end of this avidya, this tamasha, this show? Who is at the other end? God. Got it? Now suppose you jump from this end to the other end, then what will happen to you? You will become one with God. Tattvamasi. No, we want to be fans. Okay, you be in the samsara. You choose. You can transport yourself from this end of the tube to the other end. This example is given by Shruti and also by Acharyas all the time. They said Indrajala, the net of Indra. Indra is Ishvara. Indraha Parameshwara, not this local Indra, the heaven Indra, no. So, the net of Indra, so Parameshwara, it is the net. You see the magician presents a show. Again, one more illustration. He presents a show and you have to watch the show from this end. Once there was a magic show. In some club, there was a magic show. A magician came and he is preparing to present the show. I was there. I was one of the members of that committee. So I went to the magician and I said, I would keep a chair behind the curtain and I watch you from behind. So do you have any problem? He said, yes. I don't want you to watch from behind. Suppose I am the magician, somebody wants to watch from there, he won't allow. You go and sit there and watch. No, I will stay behind the curtain and occasionally look at you. No. He checks that there is nobody behind the curtain and then only he presents the show. Because if you look at him from behind, there is no magic left now. There is magic only when you see it from a position of disadvantage. The disadvantage being avidya. Avidya is the disadvantage. You have to see from the position of avidya, then only you find the magic. It appears real. If you go to his side, it doesn't appear real. When it doesn't appear real, there is no magic left now. From behind you see, hat appears as hat, chick appears as chick. Oh, there is no magic in it. But from the front you see, the chick comes from the hat. That becomes the magic. Therefore, the avidya has two elements. One is on the side of jiva, the samsari, the bound person, and other on the side of Ishvara, the magician. And so, they have two names. On the side of Ishvara, it is called Maya. And on the side of Jiva, it is called Avidya. Sometimes the word Maya is used on the side of Jiva also. Maya means Avidya. Therefore, you have to go by the context. To make it very clear, without giving scope for misunderstanding, the word Maya can be called Maya Shakti. It is the power. Call it power. Avidya is not a power. Don't call it avidya shakti. It is not a power. It is a detriment. It is a detriment. Whereas Maya is an endowment. For the magician, it's an endowment. For the spectator, it's a detriment. And therefore, Maya is also called Maya Shakti. Okay, now you got the point. Suppose you ask me, how does avidya look like? How does ignorance look like? Or even Maya Shakti, how does it look like? You cannot describe it. You can describe only the effect, never the cause. How does gold look like? There is no answer. How does necklace look like? You can answer. You can draw a design, drawing, and this is how necklace looks. Now, I want to know how gold looks like. You tell me. Is there an answer for it? There is no answer. There is no answer. That's why cause you cannot describe. Effect you can describe. The simple reason is, cause you cannot see, effect you can see. What you see you describe. Therefore, now this avidya or this maya, so you cannot describe it. Because you cannot see it, you cannot even conceive it with the mind. By the time you conceive it, it is not avidya anymore. It is the effect only. Therefore, it is something which you cannot see, something which you cannot conceive. So, how to describe that? That also becomes a description. So, now the description is that which cannot be conceived, that which cannot be seen. That becomes the description. That's why we give a name to it, avyakta. Okay? Now you say the verse. Avyakta namni paramesha shaktihi anadya vidya trigunatmika para karyanumeya sudhiyaiva maya yaya jagat sarvamidam prasuyate. Very simple verse. Now it becomes very simple. I have put the foundation, the ground I prepared. Now the verse becomes easy. This avidya, okay? What is it? This avidya, there is another name for it. It is avyakta. Avyaktaha, or avyaktam. Or avyakta, pumlinga, strilinga, napumsalinga. You have to go by the context. So this avidya is also called avyakta. You know what is avyakta? Avyakta means inconceivable. That is what is avyakta. Vyakta is conceiving. You cannot conceive it. So, ignorance you cannot show. This is ignorance. Confusion you can show. This is confusion. Like you are confused. So because of this, what is the confusion? So this is the confusion. You are confusing the body to be yourself. The body is not yourself. You pay attention to that. It has become a habit with you to identify with the body. That is your confusion. And this confusion is in place because you have not known your true self. That is avidya. The confusion I can describe. The avidya, I cannot show it to you. This is avidya. Therefore you can call it only avyakta, that which cannot be conceived. But its effects are there. The effects of avidya are there with us. We are confused with the body, taking the body to be myself. That is the sin. Taking the body to be oneself is the sin. You see, yesterday there was a question about Vedantic vision in Christianity. This is the vision. You see, the Jesus of Nazareth becomes the Christ only after crucifixion. And what is crucifixion? Crucifixion is rising above the body identity. So, as a student of Vedanta, you crucify yourself. You have to. You allow the body to be crucified, not physically hurting it. Okay? Disidentify with the body. That is the crucifixion. I am not the body. And body is neither me nor mine. That is the crucifixion. When that crucifixion happens in your life, you become the Christ. The Jesus of Nazareth becomes the Christ. Christ is universal. Jesus is the son of someone from the town of Nazareth. Namarupa. Gotram Vamsham, this and that. That is Jesus. Whereas Christ is universal. St. Paul said, there is a Christ in every heart. You have to discover. Therefore, the confusion, you can see the confusion. The origin of the confusion is avidya, ignorance, fundamental ignorance. That fundamental ignorance, it cannot be conceived in clear terms, so therefore it is called avyakta. This ignorance on the side of the jiva, the samsari, is the endowment on the side of Ishvara, who created this entire universe and made us samsaris. He did not make us samsaris. We have the avidya which makes us samsaris. But then on the other end of the avidya is Parameshvara. Take it as a model, So this becomes the endowment, the power of creation for Ishvara. You see, there must be fans, the ignorant fans. Then only a director can make a movie. It is both ways. It works. It can work the other way also. You see, they make a movie, Bahubali. They make a movie. And all these fans in big numbers, they run after that. And now the movie is successful. Therefore, director is very successful. Therefore, now he gets inspiration. And now he comes out with Bahubali 2. Suppose fans refuse to see Bahubali. What Bahubali are you talking about? You show some vivid scenes and hoodwink us. We are not falling for it. Have your Bahubali yourself. Suppose we all say that. Then he will never even think of Bahubali 2. I tell you. Therefore it works that way. So Ishvara created samsara because you want it that way, therefore it looks like that. It's all a tamasha. It's all mithya, maya it is. So it becomes an endowment of Ishvara, Paramesha Shaktihi, Avidya. And when did it begin? When did this begin? So you see, there are three questions which cannot be answered. Why? Because they are not the right question, they are the wrong questions. You cannot answer a wrong question. You can answer only the right question. You cannot answer a wrong question. Now what to do with the wrong question? Recognize it as a wrong question. You know what are the three questions? When did creation happen? How did creation happen? And when and how? Where did creation happen? These are the three questions. They are the wrong questions. Why? Because time came into existence after creation. Therefore the question when is wrong. There was no time before creation. Therefore when is wrong. Space came into existence after creation. Therefore where is wrong. Causality, the principle of causality. This is the cause, that is the effect. That is the duality, This is cause, that is effect. That is the duality. In the form of causality. That causality came into effect after creation. Therefore you cannot ask how. So three wrong questions. Therefore avidya, the creation is the product of avidya, Ishvara's power of maya. Therefore don't ask when, where and how. Therefore say it is beginningless, so when is ruled out. It has no place where it happened because all place comes later, and it has no reason. Why did it? There is no reason. Because reason comes later. Karana Karya Bhava comes later. That's why, keeping all this in mind, this avidya is called anadi. It is like asking, why is he confused? Because he is ignorant. Why is he ignorant? Now, don't ask that question. That becomes a wrong question, okay? Because ignorance cannot have one more cause. Okay, that is how. Anadi avidya. Then para, it is very powerful. Para. You see, it is the source of all suffering in life. And you overcome it, you become free. There is liberation. And therefore, it is the most important thing. It binds us to no end.
Its power is unimaginable, para. And in the case of Ishvara, it is the supreme power. It is a supreme endowment for Ishvara, para. And then Trigunatmika, I will come to it. Karyanumeya, sudhiyaiva. So how do you know there is avidya? You see, suppose somebody comes to you, you say, sir, you have fundamental ignorance. How will he feel? He will feel very bad about it. He will ask, what are you talking? How do you know that I am ignorant? So nobody wants to admit that he is ignorant. They don't want to admit. You need a humble heart to admit. So there is avidya, and you can easily infer that there is avidya. So you need some thinking, power of thinking, sudhiya eva anumeya. So you look at the person is suffering for no reason. The person is suffering for no reason, really. No reason he is suffering. Like somebody died and people are sitting around and crying. Why are they crying? There is no reason to cry. Why are they crying yet? They are crying because they are ignorant. Gatasun agatasunshcha nanusochanti panditaha. If only they were intelligent, they would not cry. An intelligent person would not cry. Only ignorant people will cry. So how do you know they are ignorant? Because they are crying. So you can infer the ignorance based on what the silly things that people do. A bunch of ignoramuses. What else? So, sudhiya karyanumeya. Karyena anumeya. With karya, look at the karya. Karya is the effect. Look at the effect and infer. You see, somebody died. Some people are crying. All people, quite a few of them sit around or stand around and cry. They are crying. A Mahatma was walking that side. He suddenly recognized another Mahatma in that crowd. He was also crying. Then he called him. He came. What happened to you? Why are you crying? He said, I am not crying. But I saw you crying. Yeah, I am just crying. Because all these people are crying. If I don't cry, I have to console them. Therefore, to avoid this consoling nonsense, I also started crying. Because all of them are crying, if I stand quietly, then I have to console these fellows. Now, who can console all these fellows? Nobody can console. Therefore, you join the crowd and cry. Be done with it. People are nuts, I tell you. Really? They cry? For what? Somebody died, therefore they cry? Arre, what kind of thing it is? People are like that. Therefore, you have to conclude or infer that these fellows don't know. Karyanumeya sudhiyaiva maya. That is the maya. Avidya is the maya. Yaya jagat sarvamidam prasuyate. You see, look at from Ishvara's side. From the magician's side, you look at it. From the magician's side, he uses that endowment, that power, and presents a magic before you and makes you all dumbfounded. That is from his side. And from the side of the audience, they imagine all kinds of things and see, oh, what a show it is. Like that, there is no show there. They just imagine. Therefore, Bhagavan has created this entire universe using his Maya Shakti.
Bhagavan has created
but in a different way from your side. You are creating this samsara.
In a different way.
Suppose you wake up. Till you wake up, there is no bondage, there is no suffering.
Suppose you wake up.
Right?
Till you wake
now
up,
you wake
there is
up.
no bondage.
In the first moments of waking up also, there is no bondage.
In the first moments of waking
up, now you are fully awake.
There is no bondage.
And now you look at
now you are fully awake.
and the suffering
now
begins. Suffering
look
or
at,
some complaint,
the
some
lady
frustration,
under the suffering.
whatever.
Suffering or some
Then
complaint,
it
some
comes with
frustration.
the opposite also. It is the pair of opposites,
Then it comes with the
So
opposite
you look
also.
at the
It is
lady.
the pair
She
of
is washing
opposites,
clothes. Now, is
So
that the
you
time
look
for
at the
washing
lady.
clothes?
She is washing clothes.
Now the man,
Is
the
that
head
the
of the
time for
family,
washing
he
clothes?
wakes up, it is 6:30.
Now
Is
the
that the
man,
time for
the
washing
head of
clothes?
the family, he
No.
wakes up. It is
Then what? It is
6:30.
the time
Is
for
that the time for washing
filtering
clothes?
the
No.
coffee.
Then what is
She
the
has
time
to
for
put hot water and filter the
filtering
coffee.
the coffee?
That is what she has to
She
do.
has to put
She is
hot
sitting
water
in the
and filter
bathroom
the coffee.
and washing the
That
clothes.
is what she has to do.
What kind of
She is sitting in the
priorities
bathroom
they
and
are?
washing the clothes.
But what to
Kind
do?
of
So wake up.
priorities they are.
And then,
But what
hello,
to do?
enough is enough.
So
Come
wake
on, start the coffee
And
pot.
then, hello,
You say that.
enough is enough. Come on,
Samsara
start
begins.
the coffee pot. You say that. Samsara begins.
This is how samsara begins. Therefore, so
This is how
there is
samsara begins.
samsara,
Therefore,
not in the
so
sleep,
there is
not when you
samsara,
wake up, not in the first
not
moments of
in
waking
the
up.
sleep,
There is no
not when
samsara.
you wake up, not in the
Supta
first moments of
prabuddhayo
waking
sandhau.
up. There is no samsara.
Supta
Supta
prabuddhayo
prabuddhayo
sandhau
sandhau.
atmano gatim atmadruk.
Supta
Like that
prabuddhayo
Bhagavata
sandhau
presents a
atmano
model.
gatim atmadruk.
So in the first
Like that
moments of
Bhagavata
waking up,
presents
there is no
a model.
samsara.
So
There
in
is
the
no
first
suffering.
moments of waking up,
And then
there
the
is no
suffering
samsara.
begins.
There is no suffering.
It begins
And
from
then
where?
the suffering begins.
Thought.
It
Thought
begins from where?
breeds sorrow.
Thought.
Therefore the thought
Thought
moves.
breeds
The
sorrow.
movement begins.
Therefore, the thought
As it
moves.
moves, it
The
creates a
movement
world.
begins.
It
As it
spins.
moves,
The mind will be
creates a
spinning.
world.
And it creates a world.
Spins.
My
The mind
house,
will be spinning.
my family,
And it
my
creates
wife,
a world.
my children,
My house,
my vamsha, my
my
gotra,
family,
my caste,
my wife,
my
my
creed,
children.
my religion.
my vamsha, my
Begin.
gotra,
The
my
samsara
caste,
begins.
my creed, my
And the
religion.
person will suffer to
Begins.
no end.
The samsara begins.
Now, who created this
The person
samsara?
will suffer
He
to no
created
end.
for himself.
Now, who created this samsara?
No, God created.
He
Okay,
created
God also
for
created.
himself. No,
God created what
okay,
He
God
created,
also
and you create what you create.
God created what He
It
created,
is
and
all
you create
a
what you
big
create.
show.
It
Yaya
is all
jagat
a big
sarvamidam
show.
prasuyate. That leaves
Yaya
only one
jagat
expression,
sarvamidam
Trigunatmika.
That leaves only
We'll look
one
at it in the evening
expression.
class.
Trigunatmika.
Om Purnamada
We'll look
Purnamidam.
at it in the evening class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam.